Howdy-ho, Andrew here. Welcome to the Onion Buns and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Oilers. So, only 2 games this past week. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. Usually I have 3 or 4 games to recap and so let's have a conversation, I guess. The two things going on this past week are the return of RNH and the addition of Connor Clattenburg. So, first off, RNH. No single player not named Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl should make that big of a difference in a game. It really shouldn't. But that's exactly what happened with the return of RNH. Is our penalty killing got better, our power play got better, our defensive zone play got better. Sadly, our top line didn't get better because they put RNH on the third line and the third line got better. They didn't score, but they got better, more chances. But our first line continued to kind of go through the motions, not really achieving much. Like McDavid got a goal in the fourth goal against the Kraken, but even that, it was like it was him and Hyman and Ekholm that contributed for that goal. So it wasn't our top line being this amazing line, you know. I honestly think RNH should be up on the first line with Hyman and McDavid. And I don't think it's fair to McDavid either to have Savoy up there because there's no chemistry there. And I don't care what Bob Stauffer says. I really don't. There is no chemistry up there. If you're going to be playing in the top line with Connor McDavid, you need to produce. And I mean, not only is Savoy not producing, he's not even getting the looks with the line. You're not going to score every game. Even with Connor, you're not going to score every game. But you should be at least getting the looks, the chances, driving the play. And that's simply not happening with Savoy up there. And I want to be clear, Matt Savoy will be a top 6 player on the Edmonton Oilers at some point. He's just not there yet. So I really think they should put RNH back up on his wing because when RNH was up with McDavid at the start of the season, while Hyman even was hurt, they were golden together. They were absolute money. And then sadly, Rosevich is injured because Podkolzin, Leon, and Rosevich, they're gold together as well as the second line. And then it's up to the rest of the players to make the third and fourth lines work. But one of the problems we have in Edmonton is our media likes to try to suggest that our third and fourth lines are not working if they're not scoring every game. Our biggest goal scorers should be our first 2 lines. Our third line should be a nice balanced line that is good defensively and has a little bit of offensive oomph to it. But they're not going to score every game. They're not going to hit that's why they need to be balanced. And then our fourth line needs to be a shutdown. And I'll get to that with Clattenburg, but you can't rely on the fourth line to be scoring either. And then this is the biggest problem I see with the Oilers this year. And I called this. You know, I don't mean to toot my own horn here, but I called this before the preseason, that this team was being developed to be offense, 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 to outscore defensive liabilities and to outscore average goaltending. And they didn't do it, and they can't do it. We've seen this style of design before. Toronto. When's the last time Toronto made it to the Stanley Cup Finals? 1967. When's the last time Toronto made it past the second round of the playoffs? I think it's been over 20 years now. I'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's been over 20 years now. Offense, 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 offense does not work. It's never worked. Hockey is a team sport. You need offense, but you also need defense. You also need physicality. You need chemistry throughout all 4 lines, not just each line trying to be a repeat of the other line. And this is the problem that the Oilers have had this season, is they have been trying to play offense, 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 and it's not been working. It's no surprise that 3 of their last 4 games have been their best games of the entire season. And in those 3 games, they focused on being physical, playing responsible defensive hockey, and being opportunistic on the goal scoring. And that's how they got it to the Stanley Cup final last year too. You know, Knobloch says this all the time. Our defense is what carried us. And he doesn't mean Nurse and Bouchard and Ekholm. He means the team defense, the entire team, all of the skaters. That's what carried them into the Stanley Cup Finals. But we haven't had that this season. We have had an attempt to be offense, or what I call shinny hockey. No physicality, no defensive back checking, hanging your goalies out to dry, and just trying to score. But unfortunately, it wasn't working. I mean, it's an exciting brand of hockey if you can make it work, but it wasn't working. So RNH coming back seems to have taken the emphasis off of offense. But I still think he should be up on the first line. The voice should be down on the third line. I'm not a fan of gifting any player any role. You got to earn that role. RNH has earned top line minutes. Hyman has earned top line minutes. McDavid has earned top line minutes. Leon's earned top line minutes, but there is common sense in having Leon drive his own line. Podkolzin honestly hasn't earned top 6 minutes, but he fits. Again, this is the team mentality. He fits with Leon. He makes Leon a better player. And then on the other wing, you had Rosevich for a long time, and they were gold. And you have Mangiapane now, and he's not quite to the level of Rosevich, but, you know, he's starting to figure it out. But, yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't like how our lines are set, even though we had a great game last game. And I'll get to that in the recap. I don't like how our lines are set. So the other thing I want to talk about is Connor Clattenburg. By all rights, this kid should not be an NHL player right now. He doesn't have the skill. He doesn't have the speed. He's got the physicality and he's got the desire, and that's going to carry him into the NHL. Make no mistake about it. This is something I do agree with Bob Stauffer. Clattenburg will be a mainstay on the Oilers next year. This year, I still think he's going to go down to the farm. But that's a hard choice to make because ever since he's been brought up, he's brought a life into the team that the team was missing. Like this last game, I haven't seen the Oilers throw that many hits all season. And it was all off the back of Clattenburg. Clattenburg was riling them up and showing them how to do it, and they were following him. So he may not have the hands and the skill and the speed. He's got the attitude and he's got that presence. That all-important presence that teammates rally around, and he makes the team better. So I'm not sure they can send him down. I do think they will when Rosevich and Kapanen are back, but I'm not sure they should, is maybe a better way to put it, because he brings what we are missing. And on the fourth line, Lazar, him, and Fredericks, they were gold as a shutdown line. They were absolute gold. They did exactly what they needed to do. They were physical. They were back checking. They did everything they were being asked of. So, yeah, I don't know what the future holds for Connor Clattenburg for this season. Next season, he's going to be an Oiler. Like, I agree with Bob Stauffer. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Next season, barring some catastrophic collapse by him, he will be a full-time Oiler, and Edmonton will be better for it. This year, we're going to have to wait and see. Like Rosevich injury and Kapanen re-injuring himself kind of puts a damper in it. So we'll have to see how that plays out. So yeah, it's interesting times, people. It's interesting times. All right, so let's get to my favorite portion of my weekly show, making fun of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So what do I got for you today? Oh, this one's good. Calgary, Vancouver, and Oilers. We lost the Cup final in 7 games. Montreal Canadiens and Ottawa Senators. 7 games. We lost in 5. Winnipeg Jets. Cup final. We lost in the 3rd round. Toronto Maple Leafs. You guys are winning games in the 2nd round? For the second one, we got it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's Monkey Nation. Leafs suck. Losers since 67. Speak no cup. See no cup. Hear no cup. And to celebrate back to school, we have Leaf fan style. And there you go. Making fun of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I say it every week. I'm going to say it again. It never gets old, people. It never gets old. I can do this all year, and I'm going to. All right. So let's get to the game recaps. Oilers versus Dallas, game 25, November 25th. In the pre-show, I wrote no RNH or Kapanen expected. Word is potentially this Saturday for both. What happened is Kapanen re-injured himself the day before the game, and he's out again. RNH did come back. Wallman not expected this week. Philip remains on long-term injury reserve. Lazar still on IR, but was skating today, and that was November 25th. And Skinner got the start. This was an ugly game, people. This was that 3 and 4 games. So we had 2 great games, one against Tampa, one against the Panthers, and then we had this game. And this was ugly. And if you want to see the recap, you can go to my game recap of the Dallas game. I'm not going to go over it. We lost 8-3. Shots on net were 30-25 for Dallas. What I wrote was, that was fugly. So disappointing that after the Tampa and Florida games that we get this effort, or more correctly, lack of effort. And that includes Knobloch, for once again refusing to demote his favorites no matter how badly they played. We keep seeing this over and over and over and over. I can't wait for RNH and Kapanen to return because it will force Knobloch to change it up. Then again, according to Stauffer, the top 6 is remaining the same and RNH will be on line 3, and that's actually what happened in the next game. 3 stars. There was only 1 star, Connor Clattenburg. The 3 slugs were Bouchard and Ekholm, 5 goals against when they were on the ice. And they were responsible for, 5 of them. 2, rest of the team, and 3, because the rest of the team didn't show up. And 3, Knobloch. Clattenburg was the only one that came ready to play. Sadly, history tells us when a bottom 6 player shows up, the rest of the team, they're not rewarded, they're punished by Knobloch. I mean, he did it to Philip, he did it to Lazar, he did it to Philip a second time. So as for the slugs, Bouchard and Ekholm lost us this game in the first period. But we've seen this before. Rest of the team gave up after the 4-minute mark of the first period. Knobloch continues to go to failed lines and failed pairings, and then rewards the absolute worst. And that was that game. There's really not much else to say about it. Like I said, you can go watch my full recap on it. It's brutal, but yeah. Next game was November 29th, so we had 4 days off for them to practice and rest. Oilers versus Kraken, game 26. What I wrote in the pre-show was, so big roster moves. Rosevich is out long-term with a reported hand injury. And this one truly sucks because he was playing so well. Wallman's out, expected back in upcoming 5-game homestand, but they wouldn't say when, so it could be game 1, it could be game 5, who knows. Philip is out, upper body, but it sounds more like a concussion. And Kapanen's out as well. He re-injured himself in practice prior to this game. Coming back in, RNH, so missed, but sounds like he's on the 3rd line, and all I can say about that is a whole bunch of swearing. But I'll get to that in a bit. Lazar also returns. Skinner gets the start. So the favorites at the expense of the team continues. All right, the Oilers win 4-0. Shots on goal were 25-26 for Seattle. What I wrote for the post-game was, welcome to the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins show, with a special mention to Stuart Skinner and Connor Clattenburg. It was a solid team effort, and it's hard to be critical when you shut out your opponent and score 4 goals. But I still think McDavid's line can be so much more impactful, but that's not going to happen with Matt Savoy on the McDavid line. Once again, that line was fairly silent for most of the game until late in the game when McDavid, Hyman, Ekholm combined for the 4th goal. Prior to that, you really didn't see much of them. They didn't hurt the team. They just didn't really do much to help the team that game. I just think we should be expecting more from a line with the world's best player, but he needs the line mates to do that. So the 3 stars, 1 was RNH, 2 was Skinner, and 3 was Clattenburg. Slugs? Really, only slug I saw was penalties. We took a lot of penalties in this game that we did not need to take. RNH was a beast and completely changed how this team looked. No one player should have such a huge impact, but that's what happened. RNH positively impacted every aspect of this game. Power play, penalty, kill, even 5-on-5. Skinner got his 9th career shutout. So you can't ask for more than that. I know some will anyway, but 0 goals against is the best you could do unless you think our goalies need to fight and score as well. Clattenburg, listen, this kid is waking up the team with his physical play. It's infectious, and you can see the rest of the team starting to buy in on that front. The only slug is the amount of power plays we gave Seattle. We need to clean up taking those careless penalties. Oilers are now 11-10-5. We start a 5-game homestand now. I won't lie, I want to see 4 to 5 wins in this next homestand. It's time for us to store some wins. So I do this video on every Monday. Today is December 1st, but the video does not come out until Wednesday. I'm mentioning this because I got a comment asking about what happened to the Tuesday game last week. I don't cover it in this video. I cover it in next week's video. I go from Tuesday to Monday. And yeah, so I needed a cutoff date and I give myself one date for editing and everything. So is what it is. So we play on December 2nd. That December 2nd game is not in this video, but I'm really hoping that, as I just said, in this homestand, this 5-game homestand, we come away with 4 to 5 wins because we need them. We gave away a ton of points in the first 24 games of this season by not playing to our level. Just playing to the other opponent's level where we give them a chance to win, and quite often they pulled it out. So we need to stop doing that, and we need to start playing to our level, making opponents play to our level. We have one of the most skilled teams in the league. We just need these guys to play like it, night in and night out. So we shall see what we get on Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday, but yeah, I got my fingers crossed for this week that we see some good stuff coming out of the Oilers, and it's time. It's just time, people. So anyway, short video this week. There was only 2 games. If you like the video, leave a like, a subscribe, and a share. I'm trying to grow my channel, and a like, a subscribe, and a share does me wonders, and I do appreciate it. Takes 1 second to subscribe, costs you absolutely nothing, helps me immensely. Just hit the subscribe button on the bottom of the screen. Always feel free to leave a comment. I encourage everybody to leave a comment. Not only does it get us interacting, but it really does help me with the YouTube algorithm and getting more eyes on my videos. And as always, pew, 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 and shit. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.